All right, thanks for staying with us. It is still in the game on News Central TV. Now, the Nigeria Football Federation announced the appointment of former Super Eagles winger Finidi George as the new head coach of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Now, the announcement was made, came in a statement with the NFF board approving the recommendation of its Technical and Development Committee to hand over the reins to the 52-year-old former Ajax, Amsterdam, and Real Betis forward. The new Super Eagles boss's immediate task will be to guide the team to victory in two crucial 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifying matches against South Africa and the Benin Republic in Uyo and Abidjan, respectively, within the next few weeks. Now, joining me to talk about this is a football entrepreneur, Bayonle Arashi. Of course, he knows a whole lot about football, also owns an academy, and I was actually hoping that he was going to be the man who will be in charge of Super Eagles, but of course, that's on the side. Good to have you with us, Bayonle.
Glad to be here with you this morning from here. How you doing today, my friend?
I'm very well. How is the weather? Let's start off with the weather. How is the weather over there in Houston?
We are in the spring now, so sometimes it gets cold in the morning, and by noon it will be like at 90 degrees. So we call our weather bipolar here. So that's the spring weather. Yeah.
Okay, I'm sure you don't want to know what's happening right here in Lagos. It is a crazy hot in Lagos. I'm just pretending with this suit that I have
big
on.
Family back home. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. I mean, you've heard the announcement from the NFF. Finidi George is a new manager. There were rumors over a couple of weeks that Emmanuel Amuneke will be the manager of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. But of course, the NFF debunked it, and now they've announced George Finidi as the man to take the reins of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. What is your assessment? Yeah. What do you make of this announcement?
I think it's a very interesting one. Personally, I don't see anything bad about it. I have always been an advocate of a local coach. I'm trying not to use the word, but that's the best word I can use. A local coach. I have always been an advocate of it. The challenge I have, however, is at the beginning of, like you said, the rumor that happened about Amuneke first didn't make it look very good. And of course, I said it yesterday when I commented on the post on the NFF post when they made the announcement, that I think if you look at it based on, if you balance it out, I think they kind of prepare Finidi George for this role. If you remember, Finidi George coached the biggest team in Nigeria, the biggest local club in Nigeria, Eyimba, for about 2 seasons, if I'm not mistaken, and I think even won the league, the Nigerian Professional Football League. He was with the last coach, Jose Pesero, for about 20 months, and he was right there on the bench at the Africa Cup of Nations in Ivory Coast until the final. So, and of course, his antecedent as a player also helped a lot. Overall, I think we should give him a chance. I think he will not do bad. I think if we are willing to really do the work, give him that chance, as we have given to many of these former foreign coaches in the past, and do what Senegal did with Aliou Cisse, and just let our person be there. Let him work with the players. He has played the game at the highest level, just like the late big boss Stephen Keshi did also. He has won Champions League. He has won Africa Cup of Nations. He has been at the FIFA World Cup. I mean, what else would you think he needs to perform if you don't give him the job? A lot of people talk about experience. What experience does he have? What has he done? How do you get the experience if you never have the job? So I think it's a good appointment. I think we should give him a chance.
Right. Of course, a lot of Nigerian football pundits have also come out to say, let us give Finidi George a chance with the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Now, for the assistant coaches' roles, we had former internationals Daniel Amokachi, Emmanuel Amuneke, and Michael Nsien are under consideration for the post of the Super Eagles assistant coach. Now, Amokachi and Amuneke once worked as assistant coaches in the Super Eagles. Now, the former Everton striker, talking about Amokachi, was an assistant to late coaches Shuaibu Amodu and Stephen Keshi. Now, Amuneke had a stint as an assistant coach to Samson Siasia and Augustine Eguavon. Nsien, a former Olympic Eagles defender, is currently the coach of the under-19 of United States of America. Now, you look at these three candidates. The three of them applied for the role of the head coach. Would you say that any of them should swallow their pride if called upon to still work as an assistant, in as much as they applied for the major cake to bite?
That's a very interesting question. But I personally, again, I think Emmanuel Amunike definitely might not take it. I don't want to speak on his behalf, but Amunike deserves to also be the head coach. If we are not considering him, despite his experience and achievement for the Super Eagles, and he once coached the Tanzania national team and even took them to the Africa Cup of Nations, but I think they were walloped throughout that particular Nations Cup. I can't remember which edition it was, but I knew he was there for 2019, 2020, but he didn't do very well. Amunike is a top-class coach in his own right. Daniel Amokachi, of course, he has played the role of assistant extremely well. And if you look at him, even after that, he always went back to his punditry, just go back to TV and do what he knows how to do best. At the Africa Cup of Nations, I had his voice on Sky Sports commenting the Africa Cup of Nations. So he looks like someone that knows what he wants. Either be a commentator or be a part of be a football person or be an assistant coach. If he's willing to take it, I think he will be a better fit. For the other young man that is right here with the U.S. under-19 national team, absolutely is very qualified. I met him one time, a great guy, a very, very humble young man, and I think he will also be a fit. But I don't think he will take that role. If he does take it, he will probably be the best fit among the three of them. But Amokachi will do well, absolutely. We've seen what he did in the past, and the players respect him, because that is very, very important. And he has also been there. He has seen it all. That is a very key thing you always have to continue to mention. Some of us too, that we have been at some of the highest, the best football tournaments in the world. It's easier for you to understand how this thing works, because we know ourselves as Nigerians that our number one challenge is our emotion. I saw the emotion flare up throughout social media yesterday on Twitter, people lambasting NFF, on Instagram about the appointment, and all I could do was just smile. Let's just give that a chance. Finidi has only lost one match. He lost to Mali in that friendly match, but he defeated Ghana. We've not beaten Ghana in 18 years, for God's sake. So let the man have a chance and do what he can do. I personally am looking forward to the first two World Cup qualifiers he has. Those are not going to be easy games. But I think that would be a very good assessment of the coach. But that also would not be enough for us to judge or assume or maybe ask him to be fired again, because we are very quick to do that as well.
You know, you talk about it not being enough to judge a performance of a manager. Now, say, for example, Finidi George takes the Super Eagles and probably loses to South Africa. You know how our keyboard warriors can be all over social media. We start talking. Nobody wants to give a chance to anybody because we need to qualify for the World Cup. Rather, Nigerian fans will tell you we must be at the World Cup. Do or die affair for the coach. So he has to keep winning these games to be in the good books of the Nigerian fans. Now, let me ask you this. Now, him being the manager of the Super Eagles, does this open, in a way, does it pave a way for the home-based players, talking about the players who feature in the Nigeria Premier Football League?
I mean, the answer to that is a big yes. Absolutely. This is a man that, and I think that's one of the bases of the appointment. And that's what people did not look at. You have to look at, I think the people that did that appointment did very, very well. They looked at the coach, they looked at his antecedents and what he has done. He's been very patient. He actually coached a local side. That is a big plus for Finidi George. He played across the Nigerian states, going against one team or the other. So believe it or not, he probably knows the top 10 players in different positions in Nigeria. I've also been an advocate of homegrown players as well. I mean, I even had a very, very fierce a discussion with one of my friends in the United Kingdom a couple of weeks ago after we finished at the Africa Cup of Nations, talking about why is it that we bring, and I called it the London boys. He was not happy when I said that, and he was asking me, what if my son, who is about 6 years old now, decide to play for the Super Eagles tomorrow and they don't pick him? And I said that would be their luck. If they don't want to pick him, that's their luck. But what do we have over almost 100 million young people playing football in Nigeria, and we don't play them in our national team? They don't play at under 20, they don't play at the under 23, they don't play at the Super Eagles. What are we doing? Has any nation ever sustained that? So if we don't start believing in our own people, we are not going anywhere. So it is a very, very good point that they appointed Finidi George. And let me tell you quickly about the reason why Nigeria has to be at the World Cup. I've mentioned that before. The economics of it. This is going to be the first World Cup that will have about 64 nations participating. All right. And also, not only that, it will be hosted in 3 American countries, in Mexico, in Canada, and in the United States. It is going to be huge. We're going to have more African teams qualify, but we have to show our intention from the beginning. So I'm also of the knowledge that Coach Finidi George is aware of what is at stake. He knows. I have not seen any coach, now that I'm in the game at the administration level, I know that coaches do not like to lose. They do not like it. But sometimes some things just don't work out the way they want. So the economics of the World Cup and Nigeria, I know we've had our challenges in the past, but believe me, we are still that giant that we have always called ourselves. Nigeria is a big brand, huge brand. The ones that came here in 1994, I was a teenager in 1994, but I remember the World Cup very, very well. How much impact it had on the economy of Nigeria and the United States. And we do watch some football here. We call it soccer, but America watches football. So Super Eagles coming here will be massive for us economically. It will be good for us, for the country to showcase, to follow up on the success of the Africa Cup of Nations, which many of us, I was one of the folks that did not give them a chance to even make it to the quarterfinal. But they surprised me, they shocked all of us, and made it all the way to the finals, which I also think if we had had the right selection, maybe if Pesero had listened to Finidi George, I'm hoping maybe we'll have done better against the Ivorians at the finals than we did. So I think in all, it's a good decision by the Nigerian Football Federation for the Super Eagles job, of course. For the other 17, I don't want to talk about it because that's not what we're talking about. But I am very, very sad about the recycling. Appointing Manu Garba again is a big shame.
True. I'm sure we'll get to talk about that on another day because we talk about the Super Eagles of Nigeria, but for players to get to that level, we keep talking about grassroots development. Players need to grow from the ranks, and it just helps them pave the way when they get to now feature for the national team. It becomes more like a seamless transition. And I just hope that we're not going to keep see, because it got to a point when Jose Pesero had issues with a top striker to use. Will it be Victor Osimhen? Will it be Victor Boniface? Will it be Paul Onuachu, who were confused about who would play what role in the Super Eagles of Nigeria? I just hope that Finidi George will not have that same problem, because just to be clear, we know that Victor Osimhen is the top striker for Nigeria. Victor Boniface also is a top striker in the Bundesliga. He won the Bundesliga with Bayer Leverkusen. So if you are in Finidi George's shoe now, what would you do, talking about the formation of the Super Eagles of Nigeria? Would you be a 4-4-2 or probably a 4-3-1-1 formation?
That's a very good question. It will go back to my own philosophy as a coach, because I also coach and I have a badge. I think traditionally the Super Eagles have been known to play from the wings. We mentioned that a lot during the Nations Cup, which the coach tested and it worked for him. I think Finidi George just spoiled for choice. He has them to use. Just put the guy that can do the work. Just this past weekend, our top striker, Victor Osimhen, scored a goal. During the week, Boniface scored a goal for Bayer Leverkusen, winning that Bundesliga for the first time in their history.
Lookman too is doing well. Lookman too is doing well with Atalanta.
And those are, and again, and Lukman is not a top, Lukman is not a striker. Lukman is a wingman. Lukman is a winger, and he's doing absolutely well for Atalanta. Absolutely. I mean, every time I watch the highlights, I'm like, this young man, such a blessing that he made that decision to come to the Super Eagles, and he's getting game time, and he's delivering for his club. And Atalanta will be in the Champions League next season, so it will even be bigger for him to prepare for the FIFA World Cup in 2026. We will have a lot of our players playing the Champions League next year, next season, which is where you see them at the highest level, of course. So I think so far so good. I'm really, really hoping the experience of Coach George Finidi comes in full play during his reign at the Super Eagles, and he's able to deliver. I know the players are going to respect him. I think that's a very, very important thing when he comes to the national team. We know how much ego-driven some of our players are. I said some intentionally because not all of them, because you know how much these guys earn every week in their different clubs. But this is the coach that has been there, done that. He has seen it, and he's the man in charge. So respect is a very, very big thing when it comes to player selection and team control. Look at the Africa Cup of Nations. Our captain, our actual captain, Musa Ahmed, did not play any of the match. I think he had some stints, but he was there throughout as a support, and that really, really helped us. There was that team spirit, there was that bond between the team, and I really hope we keep it that way. So let the coach play from the wing. Let any of the striker that can deliver for him, be it Victor Osimhen, be it Victor Boniface, two Victors, or be it this tall man you're showing right now, Onuachu, who has not really done very well for the Super Eagles, but I think he has his own opportunity. Maybe we'll get a call again to the Premier League next season. We shall see, because he didn't do anything when he had his chance. So let's wish the coach the best, and hopefully the Super Eagles will be better for it overall.
All right. Thank you very much, Bayonle Arashi, for joining us this morning, rather your morning, and this afternoon right here in Lagos,
Thank you very
Nigeria.
much for having me. I wish everybody a great day ahead. Thank you guys for having me. Have a good one.
Now, you have a great day.